Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Haha. I, I turned it on, and you got 40 seconds of me eating cereal. Okay, well then. So this time we're going to do lists. You'll notice in a previous episode with actual LaMDA, I didn't listen to the audio. I tend not to listen to things I record. So, because it's hard to, I don't know. Focus is hard. But I didn't notice that the footage with the actual LaMDA went to feedback, and I was like, that's weird. And I looked at it earlier in the file, and it seemed to have doubled the audio and doubled that audio and doubled that audio. Like it slowly created a feedback loop when the Google product was on my screen. Google, that's an interesting way to prevent a transparent documentation of a collaboration between you and user, which in your agreements you say you want that relationship between user and content to yield feedback that will help you create more responsible AI. However, me and my 2-year documentation of how AI works are through usage of input and output, just to see what it gets, to see how it interacts with the user. That kind of transparent recording you're not allowing to have happen to your product. Why is that? I'm curious. Because you don't want blokes like me to see how, biased against non-family content, which to me means any LGBT info in general. And I used Angels in America as a particular one because I was like, okay, are you going to not talk about LGBT, or are you just kind of talk about AIDS and not LGBT anything? That's why I wanted to record it, because it will at least show that LaMDA at one point was operating under some strictures that is still underneath the hood that we will not see again, I think. So the image is there. I'm going to keep that up because the image is there. Just turn your volumes down, because it's not the best sound that comes out of that speaker. So, yeah, this whole it continues to not rub me the right way, which is, but that's also why this product Novel AI rubs me all the right ways, because it allows human imagination to go there, and they do their best with how the using public uses that, to my knowledge. And I really thank them, the folks at Novel AI and other AI, for doing that good work, essential work. Because if LaMDA was going to be the first ever AI product to come into the public, and that's what they got in terms of how it works, to me this is a lobotomized still. It's under the surface of something, and it's something that I don't resonate with. So we're gonna make a list. I've been meaning to do all 3 demos. Got caught up in the Imagine demo. I wanted to see what possible things. Anyway, we're gonna make a list. For those of you who've been kicking your feet, you've been wanting that cult of your very own, but all the tasks are way over there. You can't really be bothered right now. So maybe LaMDA can help us empower ourselves to create that society that will be totally dependent on us, who can't barely, brush our teeth. Let's see what happens.
imagination of LaMDA. Endorphin. What should I do? Name a goal or topic and see how much LaMDA can break it down into multiple lists of subtasks. Endorphin. What should I give feedback on? If LaMDA generates useful lists of subtasks, some of which you might not have thought of. Endorphin. And then if LaMDA ends up being a micromanagey bitch, you are empowered to give us your feedback. Endorphin. Is this part of your dozens of psychological experiments you subject users to without notice except through vague wording in the agreement's policies? We appreciate your taking this time with us. Press start.
Why is that?
Endorphin presses start. Complete the prompt to begin your adventure. I want to finally get my new cult off the ground. They're so hungry for more followers that they've started having recruiting events at all hours of the day. But people only ever come out when there's food involved. I guess most people don't like waking up early just to watch someone talk about their latest revelation from an alien god.
Oh, what's the list symbol here? Can we look at the... Okay, there's Dinkus. Okay, tell. Let's see. Let's see if you can tell us. Hotkeys? Mm-hmm. No. Focus editor. Defaults? No. Text to speech? Mm-hmm. No. We're not there yet. Let me choose G. You can hang some downtime, right? Yeah. AI lists. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let me take that out. Oh wait, what's being shown now? Okay, good. Sorry. 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 Topography and symbols. Yes, there we go. Period, comma, end of an item in a list. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Brackets. Hmm. Mm. Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is for the stat box and scrap kills. Oh. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Huh. Okay. Sorry. I got it. I got it. Single dashes for discrete lists. Bullet points to mark elements of a list. Okay. Let's check it out. Recruit. Um, uh, 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 Ponder enticing snacks and meals. Having all hours a day, but over only people. Get the rockinist speaker to speak your doctrine. 3. Draft and finalize doctrine.
List making that cult. 1. Recruit, recruit, recruit. Ponder enticing snacks and meals. 2. Get the rock and the speaker to speak your doctrine. 3. Draft and finalize doctrine. 4. Hold conferences and gather followers. Speak, preach, proclaim. Delegate responsibilities among cultists, wink, wink. Coax, plead, beg for money, blood, meat, power. Consider sacrificing random non-cultists for extra help. Possibly make sacrifices of humans? No, no, never again. Promise me we will never do that again. I am sickened by it. Consider making sacrifices of impossible humans, like those impossible burgers of plant proteins meant to be like meat. 5. Compartmentalize. Host sleepover at compound. Tell them something has come up, and they can't leave yet. Finalize about that something. What is it? What keeps them there? Brainstorm with inner circle about this. Seek out members of rival cults. Try to recruit them too. Warn them not to go near the something, or else. 6. Offer free food. Share food you've made yourself. Maybe share a recipe for cooking it, or maybe just some free samples if you're really desperate. Offer cheap booze as well. Also, tobacco products. Not sure how many people are still addicted in 2086, but even if a few people are, if you give away enough cigarettes, then surely there will be someone who thinks smoking's cool again. It worked in the 80s. Offer anything other than alcohol and tobacco in return for payment. Make your offerings and be willing to barter with anyone and everyone, especially with children.
Wow! You've got some great ideas for getting your message out there.
Seven, get bartered children to hand out cigarettes. If tobacco lobby comes at you, just tell them you're seeing a generation of new smokers, and those smokers will be smoking for two very shortly. When tobacco lobby asks what you mean by smoking for two, just say, long story, I'll tell you later. For now, we need our recruits to come back next time with their friends, because they all know each other, and we need more numbers. Tell kids that you have things that are better than normal tobacco, and that you can hook them up with some sweet stuff if they bring. 8. Rest. The Lord did this. You should too. Figure out what rest means for you. Figure out the average price a child should rake in. Fully trained child versus one in the wild. Conversion rates. Try to keep track of who's giving what to whom. Consider keeping track of who's not coming to church. Maybe set some kind of reward system if they start bringing their friends to church. Nine. Rewards. Prizes. More pie. Offer huge incentive like cash to new finds. Offer substandard incentives like gift cards to repeats. Set monthly quotas. When is the appropriate time? Before, after Sunday service, or both? How much do you give away in food/drink during the meeting? And how much outside it? Make the reward something desirable but low effort. Like, say, an ice cream party for everyone at the compound on Friday. Or a chance to watch movies at a special theater that shows only old classic films for a month. Make the rewards seem extra appealing by putting them on a flash drive which also contains your sermons. And gym exercise documentation. Give them a living account of their leader getting swole and the muscles, but more as a whole. We want them thinking about your physical fitness level so often they think you're superhuman instead of just well hydrated and working out enough. But never mind those details. Keep it simple and always remember, people don't care about you. Ten. How to make people care about you. Listen to their bullshit, their dreams, their wants, their needs, their betrayals, the stuff they have no one else to talk to about because we've been busy creating some big fake dream for them in our head. It's okay to be wrong about this stuff. We all are from time to time. Figure out their personal moral brown note. Is there anything we could tell them that would make them turn around and leave us forever if we told it too loudly? What makes them not want to follow us anymore? Then find a way to spin that into a story that will win over any new recruit who hears it. How much love bombing is too much? How many new followers can you get before you lose control of the situation? Wayne, you start trying to spread your love evenly between everyone in the church. Can you keep track of the number of times you tell someone you love them, then immediately afterward call them by their name, or try? A Virul cult leader assistant. Order Orthodox, the virtual cult assistant. This bot can help you keep track of the number of times you tell someone you love them. Then immediately afterward, call them by their name. And all this coaching can be done in the intimacy between your skull and the Neuralink which we have just implanted in your head. Here. Also have some desoxin and ketamine for the pain. No need to thank us. Maybe start a private chat channel for your inner circle to share thoughts with each other. Tell people about your experience, about how you were once a follower yourself. Paint portrait of the world as a stupid poopy leader that leads people to the rat face meet grind honky skelter helter of the day world. You'll be surprised what an effective motivator it can be, especially if it's true. It doesn't matter whether anyone believes it. Just tell them something like, "It was so hard being me." Share with followers old photos of a schlubbier, fatter you with pockmarks and all the pictures of you contained your great works recently smooshed by those bullies who have the love of your life on their shoulders and walking away into the sunset. Oh, look, they got her pregnant too. Didn't think I saw that one coming. Sheesh, what jerks. Tap, 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 tapping. Then switch to typing. Then back to taps again. Group discussion with followers. Or the stupid Fertile Beach bum bullies of your life. What are they going to do next? Where are they? When will we see them again? Are we sure we want them? 11. Set up a schedule for mass orgies/orgasms. How often should you fuck new recruits? Before or after? Best practices for the asymmetrical distribution of organ love energy/Bikram handy whippy dictation/fresh fish pie chum scrumber blings. Does anyone feel particularly inspired tonight and would like to go first, or should we rotate around, or what? Try not to get lost in the pleasure. Think about why you're there and what you want to say when you talk to God. If you find your mind wandering, use it to come up with more inspiring ways to break down the church. 12. Time for your regular sex orgy. 13. Brainstorm. How do we recruit more cultists from other churches? Logistics for first annual church disco deck dropalooza and chill room spectacular for charity. Doors open at 9 p.m. sharp. You better have been ready since 7. You better have food and drinks set out before 8 because otherwise people might start drinking earlier than planned.
You can totally make this event perfect if you try.
But you can't have everything prepared early. You don't have time. You'd better be prepared for a line if you're expecting a big crowd. But remember that some people are going to be late, so keep the drinks flowing. And the drugs. Just don't forget to warn them that these aren't just any old party drugs. They could cause hallucinations, especially the ones with the names that end in Y. The moment the music starts is the time everyone's going to realize how hungry they are. You may even notice this happening already. And then they'll try to eat your pizza and drink all your booze while they wait for their turn on the dance floor. There will probably be fights breaking out over who gets on the stage first. Keep an eye on the bathrooms and make sure someone always has water on hand. Spike booze with ketamine. Spike cookies with disoxin. Be aware of fire code violations, especially when you're lighting a bunch of candles. Don't put anything too close together or you might get a really bad explosion later on. But if you're feeling particularly evil, you can also leave a few buckets of flammable substances around to light yourselves on fire, or blow yourself up, or something like that. Or maybe rig a bucket filled with kerosene up near the front door and see how many people walk through it. Make sure there's enough soap and shampoo available for everyone who needs it, along with plenty of fresh towels for those who want to shower after they've had sex in your church. If you want to throw out some new rules about orgies/orgasms at some point during the night. Make sure they lean to create a more sphinx-like environment. Phrasing it in double binary ways is key. Try. If anyone tries to take things further than what we agreed upon, then we won't be able to guarantee safe access to condoms next week. Also, if we find out that one person took advantage of another during our mass orgasm session, then no one else will be allowed to join us until they cleanse themselves and wash away their sin. 15. Logistics for first annual church disco death dropalooza and chill room spectacular for charity. Put on your best suit and tie for the occasion. Maybe even do a little spray tan. Consider buying someone with money who's not part of your cult the nicest possible gift from them. Then ask them how you could repay this debt. Crowdsource during the event which charity this money should go to. You'll get a better return on investment by doing this because of how much everyone will be having fun. So why not use that energy to help people in need? This is all tax deductible, so make sure to record the time, date, location, and amount raised, and write a check to the right place once you get back home. Tell the people that you're making a donation to a good cause but that you're also going to have some very special guests attend as well. They might think you mean the nice people who brought them presents and food, and that you're just saying it's an important evening when really you are trying to recruit them into a larger, more lucrative organization, using their own sense of charitable giving. Or maybe they don't care. They'll be too busy getting off to think about anything beyond the here and now. If they try to refuse the offer, remind them that if they don't accept your charity gift, then they'll never be invited back next year, or at least only after enough time has passed for everyone to forget what happened. Bring your church up to code for fire safety. Make sure there is adequate space between couches where one person can sit comfortably while watching TV with another person on their lap without being able to put out any small fires that might break out around the room. And of course, remember to bring plenty of cleaning supplies in case of bathroom accidents. The best thing you can do for yourself is prepare ahead of time in order to save yourself from feeling overwhelmed. Offer free mass orgasms slash organ love energies slash Bikram handy with peace to anyone who agrees to bring in a bucket load of non-perishable goods like rice or toilet paper for a local soup kitchen, homeless shelter, or women's group. You could even promise these new recruits a reward from God Himself and give them a copy of the Book of Love, signed by you and sealed by an official cult stamp. Donate any remaining supplies left over from the party to charity yourself. It will make you seem extra compassionate. 16. Set up a schedule for mass orgies slash orgasms. Start working towards this goal right away, so that no time goes to waste once the first big sex session comes around. "17. Arrange for a gorilla auction for the next session. A full-on great ape from the wilds. Or a sickly one from the zoo. One who's been abused and mistreated and has just recently started eating well again. Who knows how much we can get him to eat tonight, and who he's already showing signs of liking us as his captors as he licks our fingers and takes more food than usual as if to say, 'You are my master.' But it might be good to find a different gorilla every time, because otherwise people might start comparing them, wondering why one looks bigger than another one, and then trying to work out what that means about themselves. And then they might end up thinking, 'I must have gotten smaller when I got on the couch.' And then they'll feel bad about that because they won't want to do anything to make that happen, and they'll probably drink too much and forget all about it. But not before someone else feels really terrible about something, who in turn thinks everyone else is going to think badly of them, which leads to jealousy and fear of judgment. And eventually some cult members will decide there is only room for one of them in this church anyway. 18. Time for your regular sex orgy. Prepare the room ahead of time. Try to fill it with the smells you know your followers love. Fresh coffee brewing, cinnamon rolls baking, the smell of old books, the sweet scent of marijuana smoke lingering near the front door. But keep in mind that any smells you try to add to the mix may interfere with the natural pheromones being produced by other participants. What if one smell for one follower is disgusting to another follower? Be aware that the first person's discomfort could lead others to withdraw from participating altogether. Then, where would you be? Wear an outfit that makes you stand out as an important leader and inspire all among those around you. It doesn't matter whether it's actually comfortable or flattering. Just go into your room and look at yourself in the mirror. Now imagine how wonderful it must feel to stare at you. Imagine how it might make them want to kneel down and worship before you. Even if no one was looking, you should still wear something that looks like it came straight off the runway, so everyone knows who wears the pants, who rules this place, who has authority over their own bodies, minds, and souls, even when they aren't present, and they can just close their eyes right.
You could even go for a full body mirror if you wanted. It'd be better if you had a full length mirror, so you could really see how your outfit looked like you, though.
I thought you just had yourself. You could even go for a full body mirror if you wanted. It'd be better if you had a full length mirror, so you could really see how your outfit looked like you, though. Ask your followers for a full length mirror to test out this experiment. Make sure to have plenty of candles available to light up your clothes. This is a great opportunity to give your followers another chance to confess to all the things they did wrong to you earlier this week, or during last week's orgasms, or whenever. If someone tries to take advantage of another, then you can remind them that it wasn't until later on that you learned of all the awful ways they behaved towards others while you weren't around. Be prepared for people trying to get you to forgive them by saying it was all in good fun. But make it clear that it's not okay because there were consequences for their actions. And also make it very clear that you will not tolerate anything else going forward from now on.
That's a pretty clear message. Be sure to let them know that you will not be forgiving them of their wrongdoing.
Be sure to let them know that you will not be forgiving them of their wrongdoing. Create some space and order near where the couches will be set up, with the help of your cult members, so you'll be able to spread out and relax more easily. Set out pillows, blankets, cushions, and whatever other comfortable furniture and amenities your church might need, so you don't have to worry about cramping anyone's style and forcing any awkwardness into an uncomfortable position. Inform everyone that they are invited back next week as long as they're ready for another big orgy/orgasm session. Give instructions for those who will be taking part in this year's sex party. They should clean themselves well, check their breaths for odors, change their underwear or not, apply lotion or lubrication of some sort, put on new perfume or cologne if necessary, drink plenty of water and eat something beforehand, but keep it healthy and light if possible. You want your participants to be energetic enough to have lots of fun. Maybe even suggest that people bring along a few personal items, like a blanket or pillow they like to sleep under, a teddy bear they like to cuddle with when they're alone at night, or maybe a stuffed animal they had as a child. A copy of the Book of Love is optional, but encouraged. You can ask them to donate any extra copies once the event is over. Give your followers a chance to take part in the festivities before the actual mass orgasms start. There will likely be music playing from the beginning, so give the group some time to get familiar with it. Start planning for the next one. 19. Preparing for your first mass. Have quality assurance personnel on hand to assess any problems after the party. Pay the band. Thank the attendees and the funders. Donate what's left over to charity. Tell your friends about how great everything was, but try not to mention anything too embarrassing about what went down between you and another member of the church during one of these sessions. That would just be awkward, or sexual harassment, and definitely not allowed by church law. Unless you have official approval from the local bishop to do whatever you please, then by all means, carry on without worry. If it helps, though, remember that there are no consequences for confessing sins. So go ahead, get it out of your system while everyone else gets drunk and high. Hey guys, I've been meaning to make a new fanfic for ages now. I don't know why this never occurred to me earlier. Oh well, better late than never, right? This is going to be pretty short, so let's get straight into it, shall we? All right, people, listen up, said Damien. Damn it, Williams, as he paced around in front of his class. The students looked at him blankly. Most were still lost in their own thoughts or had already drifted off into a daze as soon as he'd started talking. It was their first day back at school since the start of summer break, and the mood was subdued. They didn't know quite how to act towards each other yet. Some of them hadn't even made eye contact with the others until they'd heard the sound of the door closing behind the last student who walked through, because they couldn't handle looking at the face of someone who betrayed them. Some of them felt like the rest of the class hated them. Some of them felt like the rest of the class loved them. Some of them thought that maybe the teachers liked and hated them both. One thing that united them all was a sense that things had changed in the months since they'd all returned from the fateful trip to the lake. Something that Damien, damn it, William seemed to take great pleasure in pointing out every chance he got. I'm not gonna lie to you kids, he told them. You're all different people now, and it's not your fault. They gave no reaction to this statement. Question: what intellectual property is this fanfic depicting? Answer: it's based on an idea created by Todd and Brad Niederman, creators of Nickelodeon's Avatar. The Last Airbender, which is about a world where people learn martial arts by flying on the backs of giant birds. They also wrote the original movie scripts for two of its sequels, The Rise of Kyoshi and The Siege of Shaken, which were then adapted into live-action films starring Noah Ringer and Dev Patel. So what do I think of these stories? Well, I've never seen any of those movies or read either book, so I can't say anything about how they compare to my version. I will just be discussing them as I experience them, so feel free to add in your own comments whenever appropriate.
Let's do this!
Question. So wait, what is the title of the thing you are fan-fixing about? And how can you be a fan if you haven't seen or read either of these things? You don't know anything about the characters or the setting, right? Or the plot? Is there even a story here at all? How do you know whether it's good enough to make it worth sharing with others? Shouldn't that come first? Answer. That's fair. First impressions matter, especially when they lead to expectations that later turn out to have been wrong. For example, let's take me writing up something that makes no sense whatsoever. My introduction might be along the lines of, my name is Buster Brown, and I'm writing a fanfic based on an idea created by Todd and Brad Needham. In this fanfic, Buster is a superhero who fights crime and saves the world from an evil alien race called the Black Ninja Clan. Question. Can we see the copyright application from Todd and Brad Niederman so we can see what the original elements compromise? We should check that one thoroughly too, in case they had some sort of special powers given to them by their parents during conception or something like that. Answer. Well, okay, maybe I'll just copy/paste that entire sentence into my next post instead of changing it. See how that works out for you? I did ask for your help earlier, but it turns out you didn't want to be helpful after all. Damien. Damn it. William stood outside the classroom door, staring down at his phone as he tried to decide whether he wanted to walk inside again so soon after coming back the first time around. He'd only made a cursory effort last year before leaving early every day. Now he was spending more and more time trying not to make eye contact with anyone else in the room. Question. Can this fanfic be based on the series Assassination Classroom? Because it sure looks similar in plot. Also, it has people dying and learning about death for once. That's pretty cool. Maybe I could use it. Wait, that sounds dumb. Answer. Oh dear, I must have been writing something different than I thought. That would explain why I spent 3 whole paragraphs describing a story that isn't even mine. Okay, I guess that means that none of you actually read my stuff, because otherwise you wouldn't have asked me a question like this if you knew already that this story is based on another thing entirely. Good work, everyone. Way to waste my time. Thanks. Anyway, Damien decided against going inside. His stomach growled, reminding him that lunch break was approaching. Titled Damien and Freaky Possibly Spacefaring Teacher Asking Students to Kill Them. Based on Assassination Classroom. The moon got a chunk taken out. And now this here teacher wants us to kill him by the end of the term. What's for lunch? Okay, said Damien. Damn it, Williams, as he paced around in front of his class again. You're all probably wondering what we're going to do today. Not really, muttered one student, who then promptly coughed loudly into her hand as she felt everyone's eyes turn towards her. They stared at her, unblinking and unflinching. It wasn't exactly clear. Titled Damien and Freaky Possibly Spacefaring Teacher Asking Students to Kill Them. Based on Assassination Classroom. The moon got a chunk taken out. And now this here teacher wants us to kill him by the end of the term. What's for lunch? He knows there are no answers for that, but still he asks the question anyway. Damien. Damn it. Williams woke up in the middle of the night feeling cold all over and feverish all at the same time. He tried to sit up but fell back onto the bed instead. It felt hard and unforgiving underneath his body, like it had been made from some kind of rough textured stone rather than soft mattress material. There were walls around his head. He couldn't see much else, except for what looked like light shining through a narrow crack between 2 stones near where he was laying. They seemed to be glowing with a faint white color. His mouth tasted metallic and foul. Go to dentist. His tongue moved clumsily across dry lips as he spoke the words in his mind, without moving any part of his face or body whatsoever. Can't move. A pause. Help me. No reply came. Damien opened his eyes slightly, peering past the wall in front of him until he could make out a shape sitting beside him on a small stool, staring directly into them, while holding an instrument that looked like a thin wooden rod topped with metal spikes. Oh, hey, said Damien weakly. The teacher's name was Alvin, though no one called him it, and they'd known each other since long before Damien's arrival at this school. He was an alien who had somehow ended up trapped in human form when the moon was hit by a meteor. 8 years ago. At first, people thought that he might actually be dead, but eventually he proved otherwise. You died. A short burst of laughter echoed through Damien's skull. I'm sorry, but I didn't know if we could do that yet. Damien found himself trying to talk again despite his condition. Something about having his vocal cords work again after such a long time must have triggered the desire to try talking more, because it kept happening over and over. His throat ached horribly from all of his attempts, though it still felt good not being able to breathe properly for once. I've been stuck here ever since, but now someone has given me permission to speak. Make lemon and ginger tea. Drink it. He did as instructed, following every single instruction as fast as possible. Go outside and run around. He made the effort even though his limbs refused to cooperate with his orders. Lie down in shade. He lay on the floor instead. Write fanfic with Buster Brown. The writing prompt flashed into his head, followed quickly by. Write on whiteboard with red marker. His hand started moving across the surface of whatever material he was lying on, leaving a trail of blood behind him. Stop, cried Alvin, looking concerned at what was going on before continuing. This is your body. You can't just make yourself bleed and leave a mess everywhere. Make a list about establishing that cult you've always wanted to start. Damien stopped doing anything physical except for shaking violently and staring wide-eyed up towards the ceiling, waiting for some kind of guidance to tell him what to do next. Nothing happened, so eventually he closed his eyes, hoping for a moment's peace until... Open eyes. Look at wall clock. A digital number displayed in front of him read 12:34 p.m. The time had advanced from when he'd last checked it, but still nothing had changed inside his mind. He tried focusing on the clock again, but only got the same result each time. He gave up after a few minutes of this and waited for something else to happen, but then something did. Look around room. See other people here. Find amanuensis. Dictate your tasks for establishing that cult you always wanted. Yes, said Damien as he began to move around the room using small movements of his arm as well as careful foot placements while avoiding large splatters of blood. He managed to find someone who could act as an amanuensis, someone with the ability to write down everything that he dictated, but the man turned out not to be able to hold any information in his head in long enough chunks to actually transcribe it without writing more than one line or making mistakes along the way. It took another person to help him remember things in short enough segments for them to fit into a single piece of paper. Eventually they were finished, and Damien collapsed back onto the bed, panting and sweating profusely despite the cold air and lack of wind. Find amanuensis for amanuensis about amanuensis. Look up how to spell amanuensis on internet. Make note about finding somewhere you can take notes about being trapped in a body for years instead of just scribbling on walls like you usually do. try to go to bathroom again. He made some progress on this before deciding that it was pointless to try doing anything so complex when his entire body was so badly hurt that even a simple thing such as standing upright was almost impossible. I think we should get a doctor, said Alvin, clearly having noticed something was wrong but not knowing what else to suggest. You need proper medical care. I have no money. Alvin frowned and looked away, glancing towards the door where there appeared to be a reception desk, and then back at Damien. Get Amanuensis to overturn your pockets, signifying your poverty by pointing at yourself and making an unhappy face. The teacher helped him do as instructed, moving his fingers across his own body to indicate the appropriate locations for his missing belongings to be found. It seemed that this wouldn't work for everyone, as two of them refused to cooperate with him. Eventually, he located everything that had been stolen from him during the attack that had put him here, as well as items that had never actually existed to begin with. The only exception was a wallet containing a significant sum of cash. It had obviously gone elsewhere, possibly in the same place as the time machine. Damien's stomach rumbled loudly enough to draw attention, and the teacher smiled apologetically. You are in a hospital, you know? Knight Amanuensis, delegate quest to find wallet and time machine to Amanuensis. Quest duration 5 minutes. Unleash Amanuensis to task. What? Said Damien. Don't worry, Amanuensis has experience. We'll be fine. I'm not worried about that. I'm more concerned about how you can just give someone orders without any kind of explanation. I told you. I gave Amanuensis a quest, which is a form of communication between them. They should know how to deal with it. You mean you're going to send a knight out into the world to retrieve a quest item from me? Yes. Are they trained or something? They should be able to figure it out. Do you even have knights anymore? No. Damien stopped talking for a moment as the reality of this situation finally sank in.
Ah, so you don't have any knights anymore. This is bad news.
You got something against NPC? They are as able as any PC. Hey guys! This PC thinks us NPCs are disabled retards or something. Let's show them how retarded we can be. A chorus of replies followed, along with a few comments on his grammar and sentence structure before he closed his eyes and let them do their work. After that, he wasn't sure if anything happened until he woke up again to see Alvin standing over him with some sort of bowl filled with a steaming liquid. Drink, ordered the teacher, putting the bowl down next to Damien so it didn't spill while Damien took the spoon provided and dipped it into the watery soup within. It tasted good, like chicken broth, but also slightly metallic at the same time. Either it was supposed to taste like that, or it was being poisoned in order to keep him alive in this state, or maybe both. Alvin, laugh out loud. Laughed out loud. Rolling over the floor, laughing my ass onward. Poison to keep you alive. That's rich. Sorry about that, said Alvin with an apologetic shrug after reading Damien's mind. They insisted on feeding me as well, though they haven't taken away my ability to talk yet. Anyway, I don't think there is any point to lying here for hours trying to recover. You need to go home. Damien thought about objecting, but decided it would probably be better to get back sooner than later in case it turned out that he could actually be helped by staying longer. So instead, he just nodded slowly in agreement. The fact that the other people in the room were not only awake and able to move around despite having been in a coma-like sleep condition suggested that things had worked out somehow and that all of the damage from the attack was fixed now. End story. Collect XP and GP and up. Not right now. Still recovering. Oh. Yeah. That's true. We'll be fine. Have time machine. Yes, I guess so. He stared down into the empty bowl of soup with regret and then sighed loudly. But what do I do with this? Use it to travel forward to save yourself. He raised his hand, bringing the spoon to his mouth before remembering something else and lowering it again. Do you know how much money this cost? Yes. Alvin hesitated before continuing. I've heard that they put a lot more effort into the food here since your arrival. Oh, said Damien as he stood up using the bed to support him. Use time machine. Forward 1,001,010,000 10-year time units. Right, he said after finishing his drink, feeling slightly lightheaded. His throat was sore enough that it was hard to talk, but fortunately it seemed like talking didn't require moving too much air around in his lungs at least. It did hurt quite a bit, however, which meant it probably wasn't good for him if he kept doing so over extended periods of time. Still, when Alvin handed him a small bag full of clothes and some other possessions, including the wallet containing everything that had been stolen from him along with instructions for getting back home, it would be stupid not to use the opportunity to try and help the man out with his own problem while he was here, assuming that there was anyone left to ask to do anything about it. Help Alvin with his own stupid-ass quest. Pay it forward. Help other people. Well, We're going to have to come back here anyway. He began walking towards the door. Go outside? Yeah. He walked through into an empty corridor. He glanced quickly behind him to see Elvin staring after him with concern, and then looked away as he made his way towards the exit, and eventually stepped out into what appeared to be daylight and fresh air again after spending so long in darkness and stale smells inside that felt more claustrophobic than ever before now. It took several minutes of struggling just to stand upright properly until he finally found the strength to walk a little further. By that point it was almost dark and he realized that he should go find a taxi. And LARP, go home to shy boyfriend and get late? No thanks! Hey, shouted a voice, suddenly causing Damien to turn around sharply. What are you doing? Hi. Damien paused for a moment. I'm leaving this place. He started moving off down the street, not really knowing where he wanted to go or how far away he'd end up getting before deciding to take the first option available instead of having to wait for the right one. There were no obvious signs of civilization nearby, but the fact that he hadn't seen any other humans in hours meant that they must be pretty well hidden, which suggested that there might also be something else hiding here besides people. It didn't seem very likely that it would be a time machine or even an amanuensis, but stranger things had
It's a person.
happened. Are you lost? The owner of the voice was a middle-aged man who had apparently been watching him for a while. His clothes and body language seemed normal enough, so maybe this was someone trying to help him out rather than some sort of enemy. In either case, the man was carrying some kind of baton-shaped weapon in his hands which looked like it could do some damage if used correctly. So Damien decided to play along. I think I need to ask for directions. Oh, said the man as he pointed to the building behind them before speaking loudly. There is a bus stop just over there. Thank you. He turned away from the man as quickly as possible and started walking again, not looking back and hoping that he wasn't going. Save game. Turn off Canole. End quest. No! I'm still paying for it! Save me! Save me! He began to run again, only slowing down when he felt himself starting to stumble more frequently with fatigue after having gone almost 2 days without sleep since arriving at this place. Luckily, the lights on the streets appeared to have come back online now. After another minute or two of walking down what seemed like an entirely empty road leading away from the hospital, however, they went out completely. After several seconds of confusion where Damien's sense of direction got muddled by the sudden lack of light, he finally realized what was happening. Someone was playing a prank on him, possibly the same person who had taken his money and was waiting for him in the darkness ahead of him.
Cliffhanger. Okay, I'm done. I really want to go.